So who am I speaking with?
This is Tim O'Reilly, founder and CEO of O'Reilly Media.
Hey Tim, thanks so much for your time. Hey, what I really loved about your presentation was, you talked about that the global consciousness is us, it's collective and augmented, but what we're seeing is while people are collecting data together, like in Wikipedia, and we have all this more data that allows us to sort of better, refine what we're working on. How do those two synergize? How do they come together, and are we creating platforms to improve that?
Well, I use the analogy of the way a child learns. You see, they're basically taking in lots and lots of data, and they're eventually starting to build algorithms about making sense of that data. You watch language acquisition or understanding how the world works. Now, our computers are doing that too. They're taking in lots and lots of data. And we're teaching them what it means. Sometimes we're teaching them because we wrote an algorithm that extracts a particular kind of meaning from it. Sometimes we're teaching them simply by actually directing them to pay attention to certain kinds of data. Like I used the example of the Google automated car, where the Street View drivers were not particularly aware of all the data that was being collected. They just had to drive the roads, but the senses of the Street View cars were gathering additional data that would eventually make it much more possible for the Google autonomous vehicle to redrive those same roads intelligently. So in some sense, those people were laying down pathways in the mind of the Google autonomous vehicle.
And you used an example of hearing some music at the Bellagio, and you're like, oh, what is this song? And then using Shazam to figure it out. But in actuality, it was your memory, the Shazam was clarifying it. So the machines are still very dependent on us to have these human moments, right?
Oh, absolutely, and that's one of the things that's really interesting here, where you think about, when people think about artificial intelligence, they think of it as being completely independent of us. And instead, what we're creating is this man-machine symbiosis, in which we're connected to our machines in lots and lots of ways. Obviously, there are still programmers inside these applications in many cases. There's humans who are contributing data to them from the outside. But we are also the last mile in the interface. But there's no question in my mind, when you start thinking, and actually you all see this, I always look for like hackers who are at the edge. And so people who are at the edge, for example, are playing around with new interfaces like haptic interfaces, where you get little buzz telling you turn right or turn left. Now, you take something like Google Maps and you imagine it with a haptic interface, it really becomes part of your sensorium. Oh yeah, turn right, turn left, it's that way. After a while, if you wear one of those things, people say you just forget. In fact, people have played with haptic belts that just even tell them direction. After a while, they're trained and they don't even need the device anymore. They just know where north is, even without external signs. It's sort of bizarre, but we are able to create new kinds of man-machine symbiosis.
So in essence, we're shifting what we do and don't need to remember.
That's right. And of course, we've been doing this since the beginning of human civilization. I always love the beginning of Jared Diamond's book, Guns, Germs, and Steel, in which this guy from New Guinea says, how come you guys have all the stuff? You're so stupid. I take you into the jungle for 3 days and you're dead. And he's right. It's like we've lost a lot in the process of gaining a lot, and we'll probably do it again. So when people like Nick Carr are talking about the internet is making us stupid, it's making us lose certain skills and gain other ones. Yeah, that's the story of history. I'm not very good with a bow and arrow or riding a horse either.
Tim, thank you so much for your time.
All right, thanks a lot.